Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take learning materials you send us, pull out the key knowledge, and we'll basically give you a shortcut to being well informed.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into time management,
hmm
but also the very practical skill of asking for more time when you need it, like for a deadline.
Right. We're working from an English language learning audio lesson that a listener shared. It's interesting because it uses a dialogue about needing an extension to frame a bigger discussion about time itself.
hmm So the mission for you, the learner, is really twofold. First, you'll get some practical ways to ask for more time at work or, wherever.
And second,
Second, we'll pull out some fundamental ideas about managing time effectively that are honestly pretty useful for everyone.
okay, sounds good. So let's start with the source material. What's the actual scenario in this audio lesson?
Well, it starts in an office setting. There's someone named Casey who needs to talk to her boss
Okay. Why?
because she needs more time to finish a press kit. And the lesson actually defines that for us.
Oh, useful. What is it?
It's basically marketing stuff, pictures, logos, company info, all packaged up for the media for journalists.
Got it. So standard stuff, but Casey's running late on it. A classic work situation, really.
Definitely. And this immediately brings up some key words related to time pressure. The first big one is deadline,
Ah, yes, the deadline. The source defines that how.
as the last possible date to do something.
Hmm.
Pretty straightforward. They give examples like homework due Friday or a project deadline at work. It's that final point,
Right. And if you can't meet that final point, you need an app.
an extension.
Yeah.
Yep. The lesson explains it just means more time. Pushing that deadline into the future. It's what you ask for when you realize you might miss the original deadline.
Okay. Now, in the dialogue, Casey doesn't just demand more time. She explains why. She says they ran into a lot of problems. That phrase, ran into, seems specific.
It really is. It means you encountered unexpected problems. The audio even points out you wouldn't really say met some problems. Ran into is the natural way to put it.
Right. It implies something unforeseen, yeah.
Exactly. They give examples like running into a bad storm driving home, or maybe running into computer trouble, something that just pops up and messes with the plan.
Okay, so it suggests it wasn't necessarily poor planning, but an unexpected obstacle. And that leads to the next word they mention, delayed.
Yeah, delayed just means late. Simple as that. The opposite is on time. Think about flights delayed or on time,
Yeah.
or projects. Same thing. Delayed or on time.
So putting it together, Casey needs an extension on the deadline because the press kit is delayed after she ran into some problems. Makes sense.
Precisely.
All right, let's get to the really practical bit, the phrases Casey uses to actually ask for that extension. The first one mentioned is, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
That's a good one.
Hmm.
It does a lot of work, that phrase. It shows you were already thinking about it, planning to bring it up.
It suggests prior intention.
Yeah. The examples they use are things like, sorry I didn't call back. I've been meaning to, but I've been swamped. Or, I've been meaning to tell you John quit yesterday.
Or even simpler things like wanting to see a film but not getting around to it.
Right. I've been meaning to watch that. It implies it was on your mind, but maybe time or something else got in the way. It kind of softens the blow when you're delivering potentially bad news, like needing more time.
Yeah, it shows you weren't totally blindsided or ignoring it. Okay, the next phrase is more direct. Beyond my control.
Very direct.
Hmm.
This one says flat out, I couldn't influence this. Casey uses it when talking about, I think, trouble booking a photographer and someone on the team being sick for weeks.
Right. Things you genuinely can't do anything about.
Exactly. The lesson uses the weather as the classic example. The weather is beyond my control. You can't change it. It signals external factors are to blame, not you.
It shifts responsibility in a way. Okay, and the last key phrase for asking for time, put this off.
Put this off. Means postpone, basically. Do it later.
Like procrastinating.
Sometimes, yeah. The examples are like putting off a project due tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've all been there, right? Or putting off a meeting till next week because you're too busy now. Or delaying dealing with your email inbox.
Okay, so it means deciding to do something later instead of now, like putting off writing that report until tomorrow.
Yep, that's the idea.
These phrases are incredibly useful, not just for learners, but, well, for anyone who has deadlines. But the audio lesson didn't stop there, did it? It went broader.
No, it didn't.
Hmm.
After giving those practical tools for the immediate problem asking for time, it shifted gears to talk about time management more generally. Which makes sense, really.
How so?
Well, it connects needing an extension to the bigger picture of how we handle our time in the first place. It makes this point that time is maybe our most valuable resource. More than money, even.
Why more than money?
Because you can't get it back. Once it's gone, it's gone. And crucially, everyone gets the same amount 24 hours a day, no matter who you are.
That's a really interesting point, the great equalizer. So why is time so fundamental according to this source?
Well, a few reasons. First, it's like the basic structure of everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Morning, noon, night, that constant clock ticking.
It gives shape to our days.
Exactly. And second, each day is framed as a chance to grow, learn something, achieve something.
And if you waste it,
Then you're wasting opportunities,
Mhm.
opportunities that, might not come around again. It really stresses being intentional with how you use those 24 hours,
Mm.
like a budget, but for time.
A time budget. I like that. So if time is this precious, finite thing, how do we manage it better? What strategies did the lesson suggest?
It laid out some really solid steps. The very first one is set goals.
Okay. Makes sense. Know where you're going.
Right. But the key is making them clear and specific.
Yeah.
Not just, I want to learn English,
Yeah.
but more like, I want to learn 10 new English words every day. Something concrete.
Measurable. Yeah, that turns a wish into an actual target. What's next after setting goals?
Make a plan. If the goal is the destination, the plan is the map. How are you going to get there?
So breaking it down.
Yeah. Write down the tasks involved. And this is important. Prioritize them. Start with the most important stuff first.
Right. Tackle the big rocks first, as they say. And what's the big enemy of following any plan?
Yes. Procrastination. The lesson calls it the enemy of time management. Putting things off just makes them harder later, usually.
We've all done it.
Oh, absolutely. The advice is simple. Just start.
Mm.
Even if it's a tiny step, just get the ball rolling. Start now.
That initial inertia is often the hardest part. Okay, goals, plan, don't procrastinate. What else?
A big one. Learn to say no.
Ooh, that's tough for a lot of people.
It really is. But if you say yes to everything, you end up scattered, doing things that aren't really important or that pull you away from your actual goals. Protecting your time means sometimes declining requests.
Starting your focus. Makes sense. Anything else practical?
Yep. Use tools. Things like calendars, maybe timers for focused work sessions, to-do lists, whatever helps you stay organized and reminds you what needs doing when.
Digital or paper, doesn't matter. Just use something.
Exactly. Find what works for you. And interestingly, it's not all about just grinding constantly. They also mention take breaks.
Ah, important. Burnout is real.
Totally. Good time management includes resting and recharging. It's about balance, not just nonstop work. You need that downtime to stay effective.
Absolutely. Something else I like that you mentioned earlier was the power of small steps.
Yeah, that was a great point in the source. That example of reading just one page a day seems tiny, right?
Insignificant, almost.
But do it every day,
Right.
and in a year you've read a whole book, maybe more. It shows how small, consistent actions add up over time. Compounding effort.
It makes big goals feel less daunting if you break them down into those tiny daily actions. And the lesson connects this kind of management to success.
It does. It suggests that many successful people aren't superhuman. They're just really good at prioritizing their time. They plan, they focus, they cut out distractions. They use their 24 hours intentionally.
It's a skill like any other, and it's not just about work or projects, right? Time matters in our relationships too.
Oh, hugely. The lesson stresses that spending quality time with family, with friends, is essential. It builds bonds, brings happiness. It's how you show people you care, really, by giving them your time.
A very important reminder. And what about learning? Time's crucial there too.
Of course, you can't learn a new skill or gain deep knowledge without investing time. It's a process. It takes patience and consistent effort over time. No shortcuts, really.
Right. And flipping that, the lesson also talked about regret.
Mm-hmm. It mentioned that looking back, many people regret the time they feel they wasted. So the encouragement is to think now about how you're using your time. Does it line up with your goals, with your values, with the people you care about? Thinking about it now can help avoid that regret later.
Be proactive about potential regrets. That's quite profound, which leads nicely to the idea of the gift of now.
Yeah, that's a really core message. The present moment right now is all we actually have. The past is done, the future isn't here yet. So making good use of today is how you build a better future.
It's about conscious choices in the present.
Exactly. Wise choices today shape tomorrow.
So pulling all these threads about time together, what's the final word from the source?
The bottom line is really that time is this incredibly valuable, irreplaceable thing. We can't own it, we can't store it up, but we can decide how to use it. And those decisions, added up, really determine the quality of our lives. Every moment is a chance for something meaningful.
That's a powerful summary. Time is precious, manage it well, know how to talk about it when things go off track. These are vital skills.
Absolutely. So maybe take a moment, after listening to think about how these ideas, the strategies, the phrases could actually work for you in your own life, your own work.
And maybe a final thought to chew on based on the source. When people give reasons for being late or missing deadlines, those excuses we all hear and sometimes make so, how often do you think they reflect genuine, unavoidable problems versus maybe, just maybe, a lack of planning?
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
It is. How can we tell the difference, both in others and perhaps more importantly, in ourselves? Something to think about as you go about your day. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.